Ryan here with Prudential Pest Solutions, and in this video I'm going to show you how we treated and removed a yellow jacket nest from an attic and why just simply spraying from the outside would never have worked. So in this situation here, the client called and they said, hey, I'm seeing a ton of yellow jackets coming in and out of my roof line. Now the roof line was at least 2 stories up. And even if we had access to the roof line, what I found was that this nest was at least 4 feet from where the yellow jackets were coming in from the outside. So there's no way that we could have effectively completely killed this nest in a short amount of time if we just did it from the outside. Now the client told me, he said, hey Ryan, we have easy access to the attic. And I spoke way too soon and I said, sir, you're making this way too easy on me. I didn't need a ladder or anything like that. What I didn't realize is that I had to belly crawl through insulation, up and down rafters, over HVAC pipes and ducting, and almost got stuck a few times. So good thing I have the audio for the actual raw data muted, because otherwise you would have heard a lot of huffing and puffing out of me as I was playing human Tetris here. But I saw some yellow jackets on top of the insulation here. And in my experience, what they do is they like to build the nest in between the paper backing of the insulation and the underside of the drywall. And if you've seen any of our other videos, you'll know that they'll start kind of whittling away at that drywall until they eventually break through. So I just moved some insulation where they were. And again, this was about 4 feet from where the yellow jackets were seen coming from the outside of the house. So a simple over-the-counter spray wouldn't have done anything for this. So of course I'm wearing my full bee suit. Because we're in an enclosed space like this, I'm going to wear a respirator. Otherwise you would just hear me hacking up a lung. And we're going to just treat. Now we're going to use the PTPI, which is my favorite aerosolized insecticide for stinging insects because it works so quickly. And when you're up close and personal with no escape, you need something that works quickly. So we're just going to keep treating until I don't hear any activity. We're going to get the nest out of there, and then we're going to clean everything up, put the insulation back, and be good to go. Now, in this case, the homeowner will not have to do any drywall repair because although they were chewing at the top side of the drywall, they hadn't made it all the way through. There was still at least half the drywall thickness left. So there's just really no need, and they would have no reason to really replace that unless there was some staining on the underside, which we see in some of our other videos and some of our other nest removals. So we have the nest here removed. It's a good sized nest, about this big. And this was in Chester Springs, Pennsylvania, which is in Chester County in southeastern Pennsylvania on the outskirts of Philadelphia, which is our primary service area. So we have the nest removed here. And then what I'm going to do is, once the nest is removed, remember that PTPI, that aerosol that I used, is great. Quick knockdown. It's awesome. I love it. I use it all the time. But there's no residual to it. And what that means is that there's still going to be worker yellow jackets coming and going from that soffit area where they were coming in from. Now, they're not going to be able to rebuild the nest. They're not going to be able to make a new queen, and they'll eventually die off. But what I'm going to do in this circumstance is I'm going to use some insecticidal powder or a dust. And in this case, I use Tempo dust, which is one of my favorite ones to use. You can also use Delta dust and some of these other professional grade dust. But it gives you that residual, that long-lasting effect, so that any new ones that try to come in this year or next year, if they get underneath that insulation, they're going to die off before they ever get a chance to make a nest. So we got the nest removed, and we're just kind of putting this dust throughout the area. You can see I'm going to reach all the way down there and just kind of hit on the backside of that soffit. And of course, when you're in an attic space like this, it's pitch black. And I have my headlamp on, obviously, for light. But something to keep in mind is that when you're working that close with yellow jackets, and really any insect, but let's talk yellow jacket specific, is that they have a tendency to fly right at your face. And it's not because I'm a very handsome man, I am, but it's because that light they think that's a way out. They think that's the sun, the light source, whatever. So you'll find that when you treat and remove yellow jackets as stinging insects from inside of a structure like this, especially a dark structure, and you're the only source of light, guess where those yellow jackets are coming? To you, right? So that's never a comfortable feeling, of course, when we're walking on joists, making sure that number one, we're being safe, that our treatment's effective, and that I don't take the short way down, which is stepping through the drywall. So once everything's out of there, that was kind of the easy part. It actually took me about, well, maybe 6 minutes to even go that 10 feet from the attic entrance to where the nest was. And then my next thought was, how the heck am I going to get back out of here? And again, it was like a human game of Tetris. So we got the nest treated and removed. On the outside, we are going to still apply a residual liquid on the outside that you'll see in our other videos where I use my battery powered backpack sprayer, and I can reach about 25, 30 feet with that. So I hopped on a ladder, just hit the outside soffit there. And again, with the liquid and the dust, those stragglers will never have a chance to reestablish again. So this client, again, was in Chester Springs, and we are the stinging insect experts. So whether you have yellow jackets, hornets, bees, or wasps, and they're in the house, around the house, or you just want to be proactive and prevent this, it's time to call Prudential Pest Solutions at 484-401-4361. We service all of Berks County, Chester County, Lancaster County, and southeastern Pennsylvania. Now, a good question that the customer asked me, they said, Ryan, what can we do to prevent this from happening again? And it'd be very easy to say, we'll grab some caulk and we'll seal everything up. But where these yellow jackets were coming in was through the soffit, and a soffit is designed to let airflow in. So what I always say is the end of May, early June, if you have us come out and just do a preventative liquid spray around the outside of the house, hitting all the eaves and the soffit, we're going to kill that nest off when it only has a handful of workers versus waiting to the end of summer, early fall, when there may be thousands of them. So there is a preventative measure in this case. It's a liquid spray. But if you want to wait until fall or end of summer and see me and we'll get this nest removed and get you on YouTube and Facebook, let's do that too. Prudential Pest Solutions.